Welcome to the Short Vol Show. My name is David Lincoln. I hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. And let's just jump into it, as Mr. DeFranco would say. Yeah, so more of a ride down on the VIX. I was over at my folks' house last night, and my dad, who is very woke, of course, was asking me, wow, what about that VIX? Are you going to cover your short? VIX is below 12. And I said, good job, Dad. You're getting on it. And the answer is that I'm not trading the VIX. I'm trading VIX ETPs, which I tried to explain to him. And even though the VIX is below 12, it doesn't mean that this is going to be the turnaround moment for VXX and UVXY. I did explain to him that we will spike at some point, and the question is when, A, and B, these VIX ETPs have farther to fall possibly than where they are right now. Remember, with a VIX of 1154, if you buy VXX right now, you're actually buying 13.85 vol with the front month future and a 16 vol with the second month future. So you're not really buying a 1154 VIX if you turn around and buy a TVIX right now. All that being said, as we move lower and lower in the VIX, the potential of getting hurt in a spike kind of increases. You know, the more money that flows into the account, it kind of feels like the more money can flow out of the account in the event of a spike. And I've undertook to change my position, and in some ways it's more aggressive than it was before, and in some ways it's less. Let me explain. So before we had a December position on that was going set to expire in 24 days. VXX right now is trading 16.29, and we were long the 2018 put spread, a position that's worked out rather well. And I can say that because I've been transparent on here. When I've lost money, I've come on and said things are not going well. So when things go well, I can say things are going well, and you can believe me and know that it's not just some sort of like braggy person. So things have gone well on that position, and I've made an aggressive move, which amounts to almost just buying puts, but it's an aggressive move in one way, and it's not an aggressive move in another way, as I said before. So what I did was I rolled my position from December all the way out to June. Okay, so 206 days away. And I bought an out-of-the-money put spread. So I bought the June 1410 put spread in VXX. So the put that we're buying has such a higher price than the put that we're selling that it almost made sense to just buy the 14 puts outright and not constrain ourselves to the downside here by selling something that was relatively small in value compared with the price of the puts. But I decided for now to go ahead with actually buying the spread, although it might be possible in the future to cover the 10 puts. But I did. Part of the concept here was to take a put spread that was around 40 spreads and to slowly move out the potential of that spread to make money by widening the distance between strikes. So, as our position started out, we were long the 2018 spread, so there were only $2 between strikes. So the potential to make money with the 40 spreads was $2 times 40, or $8,000. As I rolled this down a couple strikes, I had the ability to exchange this spread for a $3 wide spread with the strikes being a little bit lower. So that's what I did. I sold the December 2018 spread, and I turned it in for a March. So we went from 24 days out to 115 days out for a March 17-14 spread. So now I exchanged a $2 spread for a $3 spread for basically the same amount of money. But this now gives us the ability to ultimately, if it's successful, go from it being worth $8,000 potentially to being it worth 3 times 4 or $12,000. So with that spread in place, that March spread, VXX actually went lower, and it allowed us the opportunity to switch from a $3 spread with our around a 40 lot all the way to a $4 spread. So the potential gain went from initially this December 20 $2 spread, the potential of making $8,000, to the potential to make $16,000. So we doubled the potential of what we could make, and we rolled all the way out till June. Now, this certainly could go very wrong for us, and one way it could go very wrong for us is things could spike off of here, and the VIX could never return to this low of a level by June. That wouldn't totally put us out of the game, but it would certainly hurt us. But the reason I like this June spread, now once again, I bought the June 1410 spread, so in 200 days for maximum value, VXX would have to go from 16 to 10, which is a pretty tall order when you think about it in one way, but if you think about it another way, it seems reasonable. And the way it seems reasonable is if we look at the amount of decay we have from contango currently. So if I were to pull up VIX Central, currently we are showing us, and I'll get out of the way here for a second. Currently VIX Central is showing us to be in contango of over 15%. The second month, between the second and third month, of almost 8%. But this is a very high number. Now, I don't know if it will stay here, but if it does stay here, or even close to here, we should have no problem getting to 10 in VXX in 200 days. 200 days is a long time from now, if you think about it. That's almost 7 months from now. So if let's just do the calculation. Instead of using 15%, let's use 10%. So 10% of, let's call the VIX, let's call VXX 17 right now. So 17 times 10% is 170. So right now it has this decaying 170 per month. Times 7 months means that this could potentially go down 1.7 times 7 is $12. So 16 minus 12 is obviously lower than 10. If we were to say, wow, this is awesome, what if this actually decayed 15% per month? So let's do 17 times 15%. That's $2.55 a month. Well, $2.55 in just 2 months, that would take us down $5 to our target. So, with contango levels as high as they are, this proposition of this decaying very rapidly becomes reasonable real quick. And we don't really need it to stay at this high contango level for long for this to become very reasonable. Remember that the strike that we bought was the 14 strike. Now, that's just over $2 away from where we are right now, and is really not that far away. Yes, VIX is low, and VIX certainly, I can give you almost 100% probability that VIX will spike between now and June at some point. However, that still gives us a lot of room for this spread to be successful. And the beauty of this particular spread is that if, for some alignment of the stars, vol actually does come in even more than now, or if the VIX just stays where it is right now for like a month or two, these 14 puts, we're essentially long the 14 puts in June, become very relevant. The other thing going for this position is that if we do get some sort of a pop in the VIX, right now we're showing June at a 71 volatility in VXX. If we do get some sort of pop in the VIX, these puts should hold up pretty well. If we pop up $2, these puts should, any pop in the VIX and pop in VXX will create a situation where market makers are going to raise volatility in these options. As we move lower, there's a possibility that they'll lower volatility, and that would work against us. However, moving lower would work for us. If we pop in this, they will raise volatility, and these 14 puts will perform pretty well with a pop to the upside. Of course, they perform better if this continues to leak lower. But this is sort of an aggressive position, but not really. If you think about 200 days, it's one of the hardest things to do as somebody who's either new to trading or just anybody who lives in today's world where like everything is minute by minute and every news story is the end of the world, and you come in, tomorrow morning and you're like, what can I do in my position to make money today? Blah, blah, blah. That is not the mindset that you have to think of as a long-term, somebody who's got plans of the long term. And the contango setup, the setup of the VIX term structure right now has huge implications medium to long term if it stays in this state. Now, that's a huge if. We don't know what state it's going to stay in. I would presume for you that even if contango drops to half of where it is right now, this is a decent position to have on. Now, what's the against case for having a position that's aggressive like this? Well, the against case is that the VIX has really come in recently, and this is maybe more of a reason to buy ETPs now than to sell them, to take off. Made good money in the last month or two. Why not take off the position and reset, wait for next time there's a pop to restart the position again? Why not wait until there's a pop, and then you can put your far out jam position on at more advantageous prices? That's the argument against having an aggressive position like this. And I wanted to say something just about politics once again, because it's all over the place right now. I really believe there's a place for all of us. I was having a discussion with somebody on StockTwits and talking about my dad being a Fox News guy, and the guy was saying, "Oh, I would definitely get along with your dad." And although I have sort of more lefty views, we're on Wall Street here, folks. So tons and tons of my friends are more conservative than I am, and it's not like we can't be friends anymore, or I hate them, or they hate me. We need to have a dialogue with people with different views, and I certainly have many people who watch this show who are more conservative than I am. There's some people who watch the show that are more liberal than I am, but it doesn't mean we can't make money trading, for one thing, and two, we can't have some sort of dialogue to set an example for the rest of the country who are at each other's throats. I probably followed more of the impeachment testimony than some other people, seeing as I'm a liberal. But I don't have any illusions that I don't think that, if you ask me who I think is going to become president next time, I would say that current president will hold on to the office. If you were to ask my impression of the impeachment hearings, I would say it's really going nowhere. But the most recent thing is basically just Devin Nunes not coming across very well. They asked him if he had gone over there to try to dig up dirt on Biden. Maria Bartiromo asked him about that 2 days ago, and he had basically no comment and said he was suing everybody. Devin Nunes came across pretty badly. For those of us who are on Twitter, know that he came across pretty badly a few months ago when he tried to sue a troll Twitter account. Devin Nunes came from the business of dairy farming initially, and somebody made a Twitter account that was for Devin Nunes' cow, and he got mad and tried to sue, all the trollers in the world, and which was hilarious. So I don't think anything's coming out of the impeachment hearings, but I think all of a sudden Devin Nunes might have kind of put his foot in his mouth here. He's supposed to be the head of this committee, and all of a sudden it turns out, well, maybe he actually went over on a trip himself to try to dig up dirt on the Bidens. And when he's asked about it, he won't comment, and he says that he's suing everybody who brought up the news story. Anyways, let's get off of politics because it's very droll. So MNK. So, anyways, ACB. Let's talk about ACB. So ACB did not work out the way I had anticipated, and I did have to bail out of my position at some point because it just started going against, and I'm not here to lose a ton of money. So too bad. That video that I made, like that was super pro ACB and all that, I tried to put a bunch of lines in the description to show that this was a little bit of a farce, and I was trying to kind of impersonate one of these, very biased market participants and stuff like that. So I hope you guys got the joke with that a little bit. I have been watching this MNK. I can't get off of these like crappy stocks. I have been watching this MNK, and it has a new trial of a drug and stuff, and it started to do better, but then yesterday the New York State announced another investigation against all these opioid guys, and it started tanking again, which is unfortunate, but we'll see how it does. It seems to have renewed signs of life, though, and this is a company who has been profitable, but it's just been plagued with, first of all, the whole Purdue Pharma scandal, and then more government going after them for their opioid drug. So we'll see what happens from here, but the stock was perking up, but then took another hit on. You can see this huge spike in volume on Friday. That's when the government announced another investigation and subpoenaed them for it. So, that's the reason this stock is a $3 stock. Look where it's come from. This is all due to opioid litigation. If it can somehow thread the needle and get out from under this stuff, this thing has the potential to go back to like 20, certainly. But that's a big if right now for MNK. I'm going to release a video soon that's like what stocks you might want to have on your watch list all the time. And having different stocks on your watch list, it's going to give you a more well-rounded view of what is happening in the market, because there are times when all stocks act together as one, sort of you would call that having a high beta to the market, and all stock, or a close beta to 1 to the S&P and the NASDAQ. But there are other times when stuff starts to diverge, and it can kind of give you an idea about what sectors are doing okay, what's actually going on in the fine print with the stock market. Having a good list of stocks. You can see there's a list of stocks to my on the left of my screen here, and let's go over your list. It's not just stocks. I've got bonds, I've got oil, I've got gold, I've got major indices, and I've got my beloved VIX futures, seeing as we are very VIX centric here. So let's talk about your news, about your watch list and how you could possibly improve it. All right, so let's take a quick look at the Drudge Report headlines here and see what we've got going on at the moment. And we've got Elizabeth Warren. It says, peak too soon. Newborn offered for sale on Craigslist. Netanyahu steps up campaign against indictment with a rally. Bolton, national security under attack from within. De Niro pounds Trump, jerk off and cheap, and blah, 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 fool. How Scorsese brought together 3 septuagenarians, I guess that means 70-year-olds, for a mob film decade in the making. Let's see what that's about. Making of The Irishman, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino brings Scorsese's 10 years in the making experiment to the big screen. So that will be fun. I'd love to see another, is it too late for another pairing of Robert De Niro and Al Pacino with Scorsese directing? I say no, let's do it. Sounds great. Look at that picture there let me get out of the way here. This is obviously a shot from filming of this. You can see, there we go. You can see De Niro in the background there. And I don't know who that camera guy is, or that other guy is. Oh, they're bringing in Joe Pesci too. This could be good, folks. Much more interesting than any of the other news. Martin Scorsese brings together De Niro, Pacino, and Joe Pesci for the film that started as much more traditional genre piece and transformed into a different type of mob movie. Let's do it, folks. Let's do it. All right, so there you go. I wanted to mention this guy, Davey504, is having a huge influence on YouTube lately. This is in YouTube news now. If we look at thumbnails on YouTube, this Davey504 guy everybody's copying him, and let me show you what I mean by that. People are making these thumbnails now that has a word, an expression, and then that mirrors the title of the video. Let me just show you what I mean. So this guy Davey504 has been hugely successful, has almost 5 million viewers now. And if we look at here's a perfect example. Let me get out of the way. Here's a perfect example of his thumbnails that have been so influential of late. And let's try to blow some of this up here. Here, this one here, it says, the best. They say he's the best bassist in the world, and he shows Davey504, and he's very, very concerned, and he's questioning the best, and then he's looking at this bass player. I want to find a better one because there's some that are really awesome. The one with PewDiePie is pretty funny. Or here, best musician ever, and it shows this girl. He's like, what? And he's so concerned. All these people are like copying him now. If we go to look at Rhett Shull here, people are like, it's a new thing to have like, let's see if I can find it. It's a new thing to have like the same thing, like a word and then an expression from somebody, and then of like panic. Here we go. So if you look at this video here, it shows confused, and then an arrow pointing at his head. Then he's looking very confused, and then that reflects the title of the video here. And I'm going to say that this is the influence of Davey504 on a lot of people, on a lot of people's thumbnails as of late. And when you have a big YouTuber who's making tons and tons of views, then they influence others, and it's just very interesting to watch. Obviously, as it being a YouTuber, I'm always watching the YouTube community to see what's going on with everybody. And the countdown continues. We should be back to live streaming pretty soon. I believe at latest by the end of the month, we will be back live streaming. So I found another example here. Anyway, by the end of the month, we should be back live streaming. Very excited about that, and I hope you guys will join me and we can do live Q&As again, which is like my favorite thing to do, which we've gotten away from. So very exciting for that. Thanks, guys, for watching. See you in the next one. Please leave your comments. Let me know what you think about this new position, which is basically essentially just long the June 14 puts in VXX. If we continue to just cruise lower like we've been doing, it will be a huge home run. But even in the event of a scalp, we've got 200 days left for it to work. So it gives us time. I was getting a little nervous with December only being 24 days away, that if we had a spike right now with only 24 days to go, the position could just be a huge loser that I had on. This way, I've given myself way more time, and I've also given myself more upside if we do just roll away lower. I could just leave this position on for like 100 days, and it could be a huge winner. So we'll see what happens. Excited to move forward, and this is like another golden era of the short vol trade, and we should be seeing more viewers. There's definitely more people interested in this right now, and I hope you guys are making money, because this is the time to do it. Let's make money, folks. I love hearing people making money, and I get these emails like, oh, I made money, and that's awesome. So I'll continue to do so, and I'll see you soon. I'm back to practicing my guitar now. Now for something completely different. I was just looking on reverb.com. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this site, but it's got used instruments, and I'm looking at I'm in the market for a new guitar, so I'm looking at some stuff here. So let's look at it together. All right, first of all, let's check out some Novos. Very cool new kind of guitar from this guy, Dennis Fano. And if we go to Novo electric guitars. Now, there's this latest thing which is all about distressing guitars. They call it relicking, where you take the finish of a guitar and you make it seem like it's old. It's kind of like stonewashing jeans or something, or adding holes to jeans. And I personally think the whole thing's ridiculous, so I'm not into it at all. However, so if I was going to get one of these Novos, I'd try to find one that wasn't as distressed. I want to distress my own things. I distress stuff myself enough. I don't need someone else to distress it for me. And there's some really nice Novos here. The Ret Shell one is that pink sparkle or burgundy sparkle, which I think is really cool. Let's see if we've got any pink sparkles here. So here's a Cirrus J in burgundy sparkle. There was a really nice one on here that just disappeared recently. Yeah, if we go to Ret Shell's YouTube, you're gonna see he's got one that's similar to those. Here he's got this. I guess it's a Cirrus J, I think, with that pinkish sparkle color. Very cool. But beyond that, I've been looking at these other really cool guitars on here. Of course, all this stuff is kind of like pretty much expensive, but I don't know what your potential price range would be. But we can still look at it, right? Have some fun here. All right, let's go back to the watch list here. And here is a PRS Dragon from 1993. These were like the legendary coolest PRS guitar way back when. You can see the Dragon inlay on the fretboard. Very cool. Of course, a $20,000 guitar, but this one's very beautiful with, it's almost like a fire-colored Gretsch orange quilt color, which is super cool. Anyways, I found a cheaper price guitar with a nice purplish. I love this purplish color, but this one's only $250. Might be fun. But I was looking at some of these. Look at this Steve Morse. I was looking at some of these. Here's another nice PRS. McCarty. Now, McCarty was one of PRS's inspirations. I think he was a luthier at, I think maybe Gibson, but he was one of PRS's inspirations. So he named some of his best guitars after McCarty. That's a real nice purple or violet quilt color. But let's go to some of these. I want to show you some of these handmade luthiers. Let's go to Facebook for 1 second here. And this guy is named Pantic and Son. Pantic. Actually, we can do this on Reverb. keep going to the wrong reverb screen here. So Pantic and Sun. Yeah, these are really cool. Check this out. There's a Pantic and Sun New Jazz. Really sweet custom-made guitar. These guys are out of Serbia. I mean, the detail is awesome on here. Really, really cool looking custom-made guitar. You know, if you're going to spend $2,000 on a guitar, why not get a handmade custom one as opposed to paying? I mean, I think this is probably much better quality than like a modern like Les Paul or something. Just gorgeous handmade guitar. But let's go to some other ones here. And these guys sell this stuff. It's like a Japanese site. Let me show you. This is Apollo Music, which I believe is out of Japan. Has some really, really cool stuff on here. Just boutique. Hi, kitty. Let's look at Rebel. Is it Rebel Music? Rebel Guitars? Yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff here. Let's see my watch list again, see if I can find some other stuff that I was looking at here. There's some alembics, very cool. I was looking at Spalt. Take a look at these. This guy is a custom guy out of Austria. These things are freaking sweet. He made some of these are like a zillion dollars. I really like this one. Like he had a fence in front of his house that he cut down the fence and made a bunch of guitars out of it. But just really high quality customized guitars. This guy just makes some beauties. Look at this. Dolphine. Really, really sweet custom guitars. He's got like these little stuff inlaid inside them. Of course, this one's $14,000, but he has some more reasonable price ones. Let's go to just look at the Spalt Instruments website for a second here. And this Michael Spalt, really freaking cool stuff. And once again, if you're going to spend a couple $1,000s on a guitar, why not get a custom built one? Let's go back to look at this one. He made like a whole bunch of guitars out of the American flag. So cool. And, you know, there's pictures of people playing these that are really good too. And of course, another custom one that I've always been interested in is Paul Languedoc, who is the guy from Fish. These guitars, really hard to get. You kind of bug them for a while and go on the wait list and stuff, but This is the one that Trey Anastasio from Fish. I know that Neil Young has a couple. Trey's ones are these G4s. We'll pull one up here, and it looks very, very cool. They're $10,000. And you got to bug him for a while, get on the wait list, etc. I like this, actually, the G2, which is slightly cheaper, $7,500. What a cool, cool, cool guitar. Custom built, beautiful, and it's hollow inside. And a lot of hollow guitars have there's like wood going down the middle of the hollow body, but these, I believe, maybe the G4 has a little bit of wood. It has less hollow body, but the G4 it's like a violin almost. It's completely hollow inside, and thus it resonates. And just beautiful craftsmanship on the Languedoc guitars here. But, you know, once again, expensive. I'm not, I know, if you don't know about guitars, there's two main guitars in the world. There's the Gibson Les Paul and the Fender Strat, and then there's also the Fender Tele for you country folks out there. Those are, like, I guess, the three main guitars in the world, and everybody else kind of copies them to some extent. But the quality on Gibsons are just too heavy for me. It's just too big, cumbersome piece of wood, and some of the quality on Gibsons isn't so great these days. That's why I look to other stuff. Now, these Novos are definitely cool, but once again, $4,000 for a Novo guitar. Let's pull up Novo for a second. Novo. And they're by this guy, Dennis Fano. And he makes a bunch of different guitars, but let's just pull up Novo guitars here for a second. And these are super, super, super cool. In the end, what matters with the guitar is the tones that you can get out of it, and how much it stays in tune, and how easy it is to play. Those are the most important things, and these things just have awesome tones, so that's what makes them really great. Check them out. So anyways, that's a couple of different things I've been looking at in the guitar world. Let me know what you think of it, and if you want me to do more videos on different stuff like this. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.